Alright, we're getting fired up here. And we are live. Perfect. Welcome to another day of Shakespeare Unlimited. Today we are doing a rather semi-obscure play. I'm not sure how many acts we'll be doing, but we'll be doing at least one of this play. It is a history play. It is entitled Edward III. We know Christopher Marlowe wrote Edward II. And many scholars, and it is becoming to be accepted opinion, that even though this play is recorded and published as anonymous, is by none other than William Shakespeare, which is why I will be performing some of it today, if not all of it. But over the next couple days, 3-4 days, 5 days, whatever it takes, we will be going through the whole play. And today we'll be starting with Act 1, at the very least. So without further ado, here we go. Robert of Artois, banished though thou be from France thy native country, yet with us thou shalt retain as great a seigneury. For we create thee Earl of Richmond here. And now go forward with our pedigree, who next succeeded Philip le Beau. 3 sons of his, which all successively did sit upon their father's regal throne, yet died, and left no issue of their loins. But was my mother sister unto those? She was, my lord, and only Isabel was all the daughters that this Philip had, whom afterward your father took to wife, and from the fragrant garden of her womb, your gracious self, the flower of Europe's hope, deserved is inheritor to France. Derived is inheritor to France. Your gracious self, the flower of Europe's hope, derived is inheritor to France. But note the rancor of rebellious minds. When thus the lineage of Le Beau was out, the French obscured your mother's privilege. And though she were the next of blood, proclaimed John of the house of Valois now their king. The reason was, they say, the realm of France, replete with princes of great parentage, ought not admit a governor to rule except he be descended of the male. And that's the special ground of their contempt, wherewith they study to exclude your grace. But they shall find that forged ground of theirs to be but dusty heaps of brittle sand. Perhaps it will be thought a heinous thing that I, a Frenchman, should discover this. But heaven I call to record of my vows. It is not hate, nor any private wrong, but love unto my country, and the right provokes my tongue thus lavish in report. You are the lineal watchman of our peace, and John of Valois indirectly climbs. What then should subjects but embrace their king? As wherein may our duty more be seen than striving to rebate a tyrant's pride, and place the true shepherd of our commonwealth. This counsel, Artois, like to fruitful showers, hath added growth unto my dignity, and by the fiery vigor of thy words, hot courage is engendered in my breast, which heretofore was racked in ignorance, but now doth mount with golden wings of fame, and will approve fair Isabel's descent, able to yoke their stubborn necks with steel, that spurn against my sovereignty in France. A messenger, Lord Audley, know from whence? The Duke of Lorraine, having crossed the seas, entreats he may have conference with your highness. Admit him, lords, that we may hear the news. Say, Duke of Lorraine, wherefore art thou come? The most renowned prince, King John of France, doth greet thee, Edward, and by me commands that for so much as by his liberal gift the Guienne kingdom is entailed to thee, thou do him lowly homage for the same. And for that purpose, within these 40 days, that there, according as the custom is, thou mayst be sworn true liegeman to our king, or else thy title in that province dies, and he himself will repossess the place. See how occasion laughs me in the face. No sooner minded to prepare for France, but straight I am invited, nay, with threats upon a penalty, enjoined to come. 'Twere but a childish part to say him nay. Lorraine, return this answer to thy lord. I mean to visit him as he requests. But how? Not servilely disposed to bend, but like a conqueror to make him bow. His lame, unpolished shifts are come to light, and truth hath pulled the vizard from his face, that set a gloss upon his arrogance. Dare he command a fealty in me? Tell him the crown that he usurps is mine, and where he sets his foot he ought to kneel. 'Tis not a petty dukedom that I claim, but all the whole dominions of the realm but all the whole dominions of the realm, which if with grudging he refuse to yield, I'll take away those borrowed plumes of his and send him naked to the wilderness. Then, Edward, here, in spite of all thy lords, I do pronounce defiance to thy face. Defiance, Frenchman? We rebound it back even to the bottom of thy master's throat, and be it spoke with reverence of the king, my gracious father, and these other lords. I hold thy message but as scurrilous. And him that sent thee like the lazy drone crept up by stealth unto the eagle's nest, from whence we'll shake him with so rough a storm as others shall be warned by his harm. Bid him leave off the lion's case he wears, lest, meeting with the lion in the field, he chance to tear him piecemeal for his pride. The soundest counsel I can give his grace. Sorry, 1 second. Is to surrender ere he be constrained. A voluntary mischief hath less scorn than when reproach with violence is born. Degenerate traitor, viper to the place where thou wast fostered in thine infancy, bearest thou a part in this conspiracy? Lorraine, behold the sharpness of this steel. Fervent desire that sits against my heart is far more thorny pricking than this blade, that with the nightingale I shall be scarred as oft as I dispose myself to rest, until my colours be displayed in France. This is thy final answer. So be gone! It is not that, nor any English brave afflicts me so, as doth his poisoned view. That is most false, should most of all be true. Now, Lord, our fleeting bark is under sail, our gage is thrown, and war is soon begun, but not so quickly brought unto an end. But wherefore come Sir William Montague? How stands the league between the Scot and us? Cracked and dissevered, my renowned lord. The treacherous king no sooner was informed of your withdrawing of your army back, but straight forgetting of his former oath, he made invasion of the bordering towns. Berwick is won, Newcastle spoiled and lost, and now the tyrant hath begirt with siege the castle of Roxborough, where enclosed the Countess Salisbury is like to perish. That is thy daughter, Warwick, is it not? Whose husband hath in Britannia served so long about the planting of Lord Mountford there. It is, my lord. Ignoble David, hast thou none to grieve but silly ladies with thy threatening arms? But I will make you shrink your snaily horns. First, therefore, Audley, this shall be thy charge. Go levy footmen for our wars in France, and Ned, take muster of our men at arms. In every shire elect a several band. Let them be soldiers of a lusty spirit, such as dread nothing but dishonour's blot. Be wary, therefore, since we do commence a famous war, and with so mighty a nation. Derby, be thou ambassador for us unto our father-in-law, the Earl of Hainault. Make him acquainted with our enterprise, and likewise will him with our own allies that are in Flanders to solicit to the Emperor of Almagne in our name. Myself, whilst you are jointly thus employed, will with these forces that I have at hand march, and once more repulse the traitorous Scot. But, sirs, be resolute. We shall have wars on every side. And, excuse me, and, Ned, thou must begin now to forget thy study and thy books, and o'er thy shoulders to an armour's weight. As cheerful sounding to my youthful spleen this tumult is of war's increasing broils, as at the coronation of a king the joyful clamours of the people are. When Ave Caesar they pronounce aloud. Within this school of honour I shall learn either to sacrifice my foes to death, or in a rightful quarrel spend my breath. Then cheerfully forward, each a several way, in great affairs 'tis not to use delay. End of Scene 1. Act 1, Scene 2. Alas! How much in vain my poor eyes gaze for succour that my sovereign should send. Ah, cousin Montague, I fear thou want'st the lively spirit sharply to solicit with vehement suit the king in my behalf. Thou dost not tell him what a grief it is to be the scornful captive to a Scot, either to be wooed with broad untuned oaths, or forced by rough insulting barbarism. Thou dost not tell him, if he here prevail, how much they will deride us here, how much they will deride us in the north, and in their vile uncivil skipping jigs bray forth their conquest and our overthrow. Even in the barren, bleak, and fruitless air, I must withdraw. The everlasting foe comes to the wall, I'll closely step aside, and list their babble blunt and full of pride. My lord of Lorraine, to our brother of France, commend us as the man in Christendom that we most reverence and entirely love. Touching your embassage, return and say that we with England will not enter parley, nor never make fair weather, or take truce, but burn their neighbour towns, and so persist with eager rods beyond their city York. And never shall our bonny riders rest, nor rusting canker have the time to eat their light-born snaffles, nor their nimble spurs, nor lay aside their jacks of gimmelled mail, nor hang their staves of grained Scottish ash in peaceful wise upon their city walls, nor from their buttoned tawny leathern belts dismiss their biting whinyards, till your king cry out, Enough! Spare England now for pity. Farewell, and tell him that you leave us here, before this castle. Say you came from us even when we had that yielded to our hands. I take my leave, and fairly will return your acceptable greeting to my king. Now, Douglas, to our former task again, for the division of this certain spoil. My liege, I crave the lady, and no more. Nay, soft ye, sir. First I must make my choice, and first I do bespeak her for myself. Why then, my liege, let me enjoy her jewels. Those are her own, still liable to her, and who inherits her hath those withal. My liege, as we were pricking on the hills to fetch in booty, marching hitherward, we might descry a mighty host of men. The sun reflecting on the armor showed a field of plate, a wood of picks advanced. Bethink your highness speedily herein, an easy march within 4 hours will bring the hindmost rank unto this place, my liege. Dislodge, dislodge, it is the King of England. Jemmy, my man, saddle my bonny black. Mean'st thou to fight, Douglas? We are too weak. I know it well, my liege, and therefore fly. My lords of Scotland, will ye stay and drink? She mocks at us, Douglas, I cannot endure it. Say, good my lord, which is he must have the lady, and which her jewels? I am sure, my lords, ye will not hence till you have shared the spoils. She heard the messenger, and heard our talk, and now that comfort makes her scorn at us. Arm, my good lord? Oh, we are all surprised. After the French ambassador, my liege, and tell him that you dare not ride to York. Excuse it that your bonny horse is lame. She heard that too, intolerable grief. Woman, farewell. Although I do not stay, 'tis not for fear, and yet you run away. Oh, happy comfort, welcome to our house. The confident and boisterous boasting Scot, that swore before my walls they would not back, for all the armed power of this land, with faceless fear, that ever turns his back, turned hence again the blasting northeast wind, upon the bare report and name of arms. O summer's day, see where my cousin comes. How fares my aunt? We are not Scots. Why do you shut your gates against your friends? Well, may I give a welcome, cousin, to thee? For thou comest well to chase my foes from hence. The king himself is come in person hither. Dear aunt, descend, and gratulate his highness. How may I entertain his majesty, to show my duty and his dignity? What, are the stealing foxes fled and gone before we could uncouple at their heels? They are, my liege, but with a cheerful cry, hot hounds and hardy chase them at the heels. This is the Countess, Warwick, is it not? Even she, liege, whose beauty tyrants fear, as a May blossom with pernicious winds, hath sullied, withered, overcast, and done. Hath she been fairer, Warwick, than she is? My gracious king, fair is she not at all. If that herself were by to stain herself, as I have seen her when she was herself, what strange enchantment lurked in those her eyes, when they excelled this excellence they have, that now her dim decline, power to draw my subject eyes from piercing majesty, to gaze on her with doting admiration. In duty lower than the ground I kneel, and from my dull knees bow my feeling heart, to witness my obedience to your highness with many millions of a subject's thanks, for this your royal presence, whose approach hath driven war and danger from my gate. Lady, stand up, I come to bring thee peace, however thereby I have purchased war. No war to you, my liege, the Scots are gone, and gallop home towards Scotland with their hate, lest, yielding here, I pine in shameful love. Come, we'll pursue the Scots, Artois, away. A little while, my gracious sovereign, stay. Let the power of a mighty king honor our roof. My husband in the wars, when he shall hear it, will triumph for joy. Then, dear my liege, now niggard not thy state, being at the wall, enter our homely gate. Pardon me, Countess, I will come no near. I dream tonight of treason, and I fear. Far from this place let ugly treason lie, no farther off than her conspiring eye, which shoots infected poison in my heart, beyond repulse of wit, or cure of art. Now in the sun alone it doth not lie, with light to take light from a mortal eye. For here 2 day stars that mine eyes would see, more than the sun steals mine own light from me. Contemplative desire, desire to be in contemplation that may master thee. Warwick, Artois, to horse, and let's away. What might I speak to make my sovereign stay? What needs a tongue to such a speaking eye, that more persuades than winning oratory? Let not thy presence, like the April sun, flatter our earth and suddenly be done. More happy do not make our outward wall, than thou wilt grace our inner house withal. Our house, my liege, is like a country swing, whose habit rude and manners blunt and plain presageth not, yet inly beautified with bounty's riches and fair hidden pride. For where the golden ore doth buried lie, the ground undecked with nature's tapestry seems barren, sere, unfertile, fruitless, dry. And where the upper turf of earth doth boast his pride, perfumes, and party-coloured cost, delve there and find this issue, and their pride to spring from ordure and corruption's side. But to make up my all too long compare, these ragged walls no testimony are. What is within but like a cloak doth hide from weather's waste the under-garnished pride. More gracious than my terms can let thee be, entreat thyself to stay a while with me. As wise as fair, what fond fit can be heard, when wisdom keeps the gate as beauty's guard? Countess, albeit my business urgeth me, it shall attend while I attend on thee. Come on, my lords, here will I host tonight. End of Act 2, end of scene, end of Act 1. Alright, that's going to do it for this part 1 of Shakespeare Unlimited. There's going to be one more video today. It's going to be Act 1 of King Lear. So we're going to do, for the next 5 days, I guess I decided this mid-stream. For the next 5 days, we're going to do one act from each Edward III and King Lear, which means at the end of 5 days, we will have read both plays in their entirety. Thank you for joining me. We'll be starting King Lear up in a little bit. Remember to make it a bar-tastic day. Thanks for joining me. Bye-bye. All right. Welcome. Welcome back. We are continuing with Act 1 of King Lear. So I hope you enjoy it. It's a great play. I enjoy performing it. So let's get right down to it. Act 1, Scene 1 of King Lear. I thought the king had more affected the Duke of Albany than Cornwall. It had always seemed so to us, but now in the division of the kingdom, it appears not which of the dukes he values most. For qualities are so weighed that curiosity in neither can make choice of either's moiety. Is not this your son, my lord? His breeding, sir, hath been at my charge. I have so often blushed to acknowledge him, that now I am brazen to it. I cannot conceive you, sir, this young fellow's mother could. Whereupon she grew round-wombed, and had indeed, sir, a son for her cradle, ere she had a husband for her bed. Do you smell a fault? I cannot wish the fault undone, the issue of it being so proper. But I have a son, sir, by order of law, some year elder than this, who yet is no dearer in my account. Though this knave came something saucily to the world before he was sent for, yet was his mother fair. There was good sport at his making, and the whoreson must be acknowledged. Do you know this noble gentleman, Edmund? No, my lord. My lord of Kent. Remember him hereafter as my honourable friend. My services to your lordship. I must love you, and so to know you better. Sir, I shall study deserving. He hath been out 9 years, and away he shall again. The king is coming. Attend the lords of France and Burgundy, Gloucester. I shall, my lord. Meantime we shall express our darker purpose. Give me the map there. Know that we have divided in 3 our kingdom, and 'tis our fast intent to shake all cares and business from our age, conferring them on younger strengths, while we, unburdened, crawl toward death. Our son of Cornwall, and you are no less loving son of Albany, we have this hour a constant will to publish our daughter's several dowers, that future strife may be prevented now. The princes, France and Burgundy, great rivals in our youngest daughter's love, long in our court have made their amorous sojourn, and here are to be answered. Tell me, my daughters, since now we will divest us both of rule, interest of territory, cares of state, which of you shall we say doth love us most, that we our largest bounty may extend where nature doth with merit challenge? Goneril, our eldest born, speak first. Sir, I love you more than word can wield the matter. Dearer than eyesight, space, and liberty. Beyond what can be valued, rich or rare, no less than life, with grace, health, beauty, honor. As much as child e'er loved, or father found, a love that makes breath poor and speech unable. Beyond all manner of so much, I love you. What shall Cordelia speak? Love, and be silent. Of all these bounds, even from this line to this, with shadowy forests and with champaigns rich, with plenteous rivers and wide-skirted meads, we make thee lady. To thine and Albany's issues be this perpetual. What says our second daughter, our dearest Regan, wife of Cornwall? I am made of that self-metal as my sister, and prize me at her worth. In my true heart, I find she names my very deed of love, only she comes too short. That I profess myself an enemy to all other joys which the most precious square of sense possesses, and find I am alone felicitate in your dear highness' love. Then poor Cordelia. And yet not so, since I am sure my love's more ponderous than my tongue. To thee and thine hereditary ever remain this ample third of our fair kingdom, no less in space, validity, and pleasure than that conferred on Goneril. Now our joy, although our last, not least, to whose young love the vines of France and milk of Burgundy strive to be interest. What can you say to draw a third more opulent than your sisters? Speak. Nothing, my lord. Nothing. Nothing. Nothing will come of nothing. Speak again. Unhappy that I am, I cannot heave my heart into my mouth. I love your majesty according to my bond, no more nor less. How, Cordelia? Mend your speech a little, lest you may mar your fortunes. Good, my lord. You have begot me, bred me, loved me. I return those duties back as are right fit, obey you, love you, and most honor you. Why have my sisters husbands, if they say they love you all? Haply, when I shall wed, that lord whose hand must take my plight, shall carry half my love with him, half my care and duty. Sure I shall never marry like my sisters. To love my father all? But goes thy heart with this? Ay, my good lord, so young and so untender, so young, my lord, and true. Let it be so. Thy truth then be thy dower. For by the sacred radiance of the sun, the mysteries of Hecate in the night, by all the operation of the orbs from whom we do exist and cease to be, here I disclaim all my paternal care, propinquity and property of blood, and as a stranger to my heart and me, hold thee from this forever. The barbarous Scythian, or he that makes his generation messes to gorge his appetite, shall to my bosom be as well neighboured, pitied, and relieved as thou, my sometime daughter. Good my liege, peace, Kent! Come not between the dragon and his wrath. I loved her most, and thought to set my rest on her kind nursery. Hence, and avoid my sight! So be my grave, my peace, as here I give her father's heart from her. Call France, who stirs? Call Burgundy, Cornwall, and Albany. With my two daughters' dowers digest the third. Let pride, which she calls plainness, marry her. I do invest you jointly with my power, preeminence, and all the large effects that troop with majesty. Ourself, by monthly course with reservation of 100 knights, by you to be sustained shall our abode make with you by due turn. Only we shall retain the name and all the addition to a king. The sway, revenue, execution of the rest, beloved sons, be yours, which to confirm this coronet part between you. Royal Lear, whom I have ever honored as my king, loved as my father, as my master followed, as my great patron, thought on in my prayers. The bow is bent and drawn, make from the shaft. Let it fall rather, though the fork invade the region of my heart. Be Kent unmannerly when Lear is mad? What wouldst thou do, old man? Think'st thou that duty shall have dread to speak, when power to flattery bows? To plainness honour's bound, when majesty falls to folly. Reserve thy state, and in thy best consideration check this hideous rashness. Answer my life, my judgment. Thy youngest daughter does not love thee least, nor are those empty-hearted whose low sounds reverb no hollowness. Kent, on thy life no more. My life I never held but as a pawn to wage against thine enemies, ne'er fear to lose it, thy safety being motive. Out of my sight! See better, Lear, and let me still remain the true blank of thine eye. Now by Apollo, thou swear'st thy gods in vain. O vassal miscreant! Dear sir, forbear. Kill thy physician, and thy fee bestow upon the foul disease. Revoke thy gift, or whilst I can vent clamour from my throat, I'll tell thee thou dost evil. Hear me, recreant, on thine allegiance hear me, that thou hast sought to make us break our vows which we durst never yet, and with strained pride to come betwixt our sentence and our power, which nor our nature nor our place can bear, our potency make good. Take thy reward. 5 days we do allot thee for provision to shield thee from disasters of the world, and on the 6th to turn thy hated back upon our kingdom. If on the 10th day following thy banished trunk be found in our dominions, the moment is thy death. Away, by Jupiter, this shall not be revoked. Fare thee well, king, sith thus thou wilt appear. Freedom lives hence, and banishment is here. The gods to their dear shelter take thee, maid, that justly think'st and hast most rightly said. And your large speeches may your deeds approve, that good effects may spring from words of love. Thus Kent, O princes, bids you all adieu. He'll shape his old course in a country new. Here's France and Burgundy, my noble lord. My lord of Burgundy, we first address toward you, who with this king hath rivaled for our daughter. What in the least will you require in present hour with her, or cease your quest of love? Most royal majesty, I crave no more than hath your highness offered, nor will you tender less. Right noble Burgundy, when she was dear to us, we did hold her so. But now her price is fallen. Sir, there she stands, if aught within that little seeming substance, or all of it with our displeasure pieced, and nothing more may fitly like your grace, she's there, and she is yours. I know no answer. Will you, with those infirmities she owes, unfriended, new adopted to our hate, dowered with our curse, and strangered with our oath, take her or leave her? Pardon me, royal sir, election makes not up in such conditions. Then leave her, sir, for by the power that made me, I tell you all her wealth. For you, great king, I would not from your love make such a stray to match you where I hate. Therefore beseech you to avert your liking a more worthier way, than on a wretch whom nature is ashamed almost to acknowledge hers. This is most strange, that she whom even but now was your best object, the argument of your praise, balm of your age, the best, the dearest, should in this trice of time commit a thing so monstrous, to dismantle so many folds of favour. Sure her offence must be of such unnatural degree that monsters it, or your forevouched affection fall into taint, which to believe of her must be a faith that reason without miracle should never plant in me. I yet beseech your majesty, if for I want that glib and oily art to speak and purpose not, since what I well intend, I'll do it before I speak, that you make known it is no vicious blot, murder or foulness, no unchaste action nor dishonored step, that hath deprived me of your grace and favour. But even for want of that for which I am richer, a still soliciting eye, and such a tongue that I am glad I have not, though not to have it hath lost me in your liking. Better thou hadst not been born, than not to have pleased me better. Is it but this, a tardiness in nature which often leaves the history unspoke that it intends to do? My lord of Burgundy, what say you to the lady? Love's not love when it is mingled with regards that stands aloof from the entire point. Will you have her? She is herself a dowry. Royal king, give but that portion which yourself proposed. Here I take Cordelia by the hand, Duchess of Burgundy. Nothing! I have sworn, I am firm. I am sorry then you have so lost a father, that you must lose a husband. Peace be with Burgundy, since that respects of fortune nor his love, I shall not be his wife. Fairest Cordelia, thou art most rich being poor, most choice forsaken, and most loved despised. Thee and thy virtues here I seize upon. Be it lawful, I take up what's cast away. Gods, gods, 'tis strange that from their cult's neglect my love should kindle to inflamed respect. Thy dowerless daughter, king, thrown to my chance, is queen of us, of ours, and our fair France. Not all the dukes of Watrish Burgundy can buy this unprized, precious maid of me. Bid them farewell, Cordelia. Though unkind, thou losest here a better where to find. Thou hast her, France, let her be thine, for we have no such daughter, nor shall ever see that face of hers again. Therefore begone, without our grace, our love, our benison. Come, noble Burgundy. Bid farewell to your sisters, the jewels of our father. With washed eyes Cordelia leaves you. I know you what you are, and like a sister am most loath to call your faults as they are named. Love well our father. To your professed bosoms I commit him, but yet alas, stood I within his grace, I would prefer him to a better place. So farewell to you both. Prescribe not us our duty. Let your study be to content your lord, who hath received you at fortune's arms. You have obedience scanted, and well are worth the want that you have wanted. Time shall unfold what plighted cunning hides. Who covers faults, at last with shame derides. Well may you prosper. Come, my fair Cordelia. Sister, it is not little I have to say of what most nearly appertains to us both. I think our father will hence tonight, that's most certain, and with you next month with us. You see how full of changes his age is. The observation we have made of it hath not been little. He always loved our sister most, and with what poor judgment he hath now cast her off appears too grossly. 'Tis the infirmity of his age, yet he hath ever but slenderly known himself. The best and soundest of his time hath been but rash. Then must we look from his age to receive not alone the imperfections of long engraft condition, but therewithal the unruly waywardness that infirm and choleric years bring with them. Such unconstant starts are we like to have from him as this of Kent's banishment. There is further compliment of leave-taking between France and him. Pray you, let us hit together. If our father carry authority with such disposition as he bears, this last surrender of his will but offend us. We shall further think of it. We must do something. And the heat. That's going to do it for this one. I'm going to finish the rest of Act 1 in King Lear a little bit later today, so it'll most likely be a separate stream. This actually went with the previous stream, so the first act of King Edward III and the first scene of King Lear are going to be on the same video. And then I'm going to finish the rest of Act 1 of King Lear later today, which will be on a separate stream. Thank you so much, and remember to make it a bard-tastic day. Bye, guys.